So some of you seen the last video I done where I have purchased my very first in my lifetime brand new vehicle. And I've been asked, why did I choose the 2024 Mustang, and why after all these years did I finally decide to buy a new car? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions and more. Let's take a look at the car first.
I'd say it's a nut job.
Okay, so here we are with my 2024 Mustang GT. And why the 2024 Mustang and why now? Well, first let's look at the car, what the car has, what the car is. Let's take a walk around the car and we'll start answering questions as we go. And I'll show you a few features of the car that really appealed to me. So let's start by walking around the car and looking at it first. So first off, let's take a look at the body lines of this car. I have been driving the car, so it needs a bath already. But I love the fact that they've widened the fenders and they've given it this wider hip in the back. By doing that, this thing has a 10.5-inch wide tire in the rear and I believe a 9-inch wide tire in the front. And they're still tucked under the car. Love that. The car has a lot of features about it that remind me of a classic Mustang. A lot in the shape of the roof, as that fastback, as a lot of people refer to it, that fastback roof line styling, and I really like that. But one thing I did like, or I do like, is I've always been a fan of the 67, 68 Mustang. And the back of this thing is the first modern Mustang I've seen that really captures that design. Now, if you're familiar with the 67, 68 Mustang design, the tail lights in it had that real sharp recessed curve. And this car also has that tail light start up here and go into this heavy V shape. To me, that reminds me a lot of that particular car. The small spoiler on the back also is a throwback to those 60s muscle car Mustangs, and I really like that styling. I'm not a black wheel kind of guy, but I also kind of dig these black wheels on this thing. Now, there is a package on these cars you can get, and they refer to it as the Night Pony. Now, from my understanding, this may be wrong, but from my understanding of what I was told, the 2023 was the last year that you would find the Night Pony just on car lots. 2024, it was an option, and they're going to phase it out. This is not the Night Pony, but these are the same wheels that they put on the Night Pony package. So let's take a look at what everybody wants to see, and that's what's underneath the hood. So under the hood of this car is, of course, the infamous 5.0 Coyote. Now, if you're not familiar with the newer ones, which I honestly am not, I'm learning as well. You guys know me, I'm a 60s and 70s muscle car guy. So it's a brand new thing for me to step into the modern car world. But if you look at this, twin throttle bodies fed down through here. These are cone filters in here, and these are air ducts that come straight out to the front right here, and I'll show you those. Twin throttle bodies, one on each side comes down. They have a cone shaped filter in here, so you can swap it out with your Cayenne or whatever you want to, and they come right here into these air ducts. So it's like the old school ram air kind of effect. This is a very good engine. This thing has incredible throttle response and incredible power. Now, the base Coyote, at least to my understanding. Now, there's all kind of different packages. Let me preface this by saying this. So yours may not be the same as this, but the base Coyote is 480 some. Well, it's somewhere right around here. But the base Coyote is 484-ish horsepower. And then this one has a performance package added on top of it. The name of the package is on the paperwork. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's supposed to add an extra 18 horsepower. So this thing should be, I'm just going to call it 500 because honestly it doesn't matter. Also, functional vents. So I'm going to call it 500. It's close enough. So we have the famed 5.0 Coyote under the hood. And let me say this, and a lot of you will already know this. Forgive the background noise here. Let me say this, a lot of you already know this. For years, again, I'm an old school guy. 60s and 70s hot rods, that's what I deal with. I don't really do modern cars. And for years, I heard 5.0, 5.0. So what? 5.0 is in the Fox body. You know what I'm saying. And a lot of you guys already know without ever explaining it. But if you've never dealt with one of these, this is not the 5.0 that your daddy had in his old Fox body. This is not the same beast at all. It's only a 5.0 because that's how the math works out, if you know what I'm saying. This thing is incredible, the power and the throttle response it has. Let's take a look at inside. First off, it's the little things like watch the window when I pull the handle off and see the window roll down just a hair so it doesn't catch on the lip that it tucks into. Love that. So in here, one of the things that was absolutely important to me is comfort. I know you're thinking of Mustang and comfort, but really, comfort was absolutely important to me. And if you look, these seats are bolstered on the back and the bottom, and the way they're shaped, it's like a warm hug when you're sitting in here, and I absolutely love it. And I've never sat in a pony car that had as much room as this car does. I don't know where they found it, but this car is way bigger than your granddaddy's pony. Also, this one is a 6-speed. I'm 6'2" and 300 pounds, and I just took this thing on a trip from South Carolina to Pennsylvania and back. And after sitting in this car 7 hours on the first leg, I got out and felt like I'd been in here for 30 minutes. It rides that good. So we got two big screens here, the 6-speed manual, and again, throwback to the old school. It's got the ring for the lockout reverse. If you know, you know. Leather wrapped dash, leather wrapped steering wheel, all your controls. This thing is absolutely gorgeous inside. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate on the screens, but these things work so awesome that it's amazing that all these things can do. So let's fire it up real quick. Let's go to features. Check this out. My Mustang. We can do track apps over here. This thing has launch control on it, has a rev match, and it has line lock on it. Now, in order for the line lock to engage, the car has to be in gear and your foot on the brake, and then it'll come up for you to activate it. Once you activate it, it will prompt you on the screen here how to turn it on and off. Line lock already in there. Launch control already in there. You can choose the RPM you want it to launch at. Almost like a two-step. Well, really works like a two-step. Absolutely amazing. You've got shift indicators, which basically is your shift light. Launch settings, lap timers, brake performance, acceleration timers. Anything you want to do at a track is all here. You can virtually change up the way your car handles and the suspension, the way it handles from a touch of a button. It is phenomenal at what this thing can do. You can also change the exhaust. Now y'all are going to love this, but I'll get to that in a second. First, auxiliary gauges. I can change it up and have all my gauges over here, extra gauges here, have all that stuff. It'll measure G-forces, latitude, all of that. Let's go to custom mode. You can do traction. You can do how your steering handles. It's endless, the things you can do here, and you can set up different profiles across here. So you just have to hit a button and come up there. But here, let's see here. Here is what I want to show you on here. Now check this out. There's a bunch of different modes here you can do, and this is your gauge cluster. So we can go to normal, which is what it's on now. We can switch it to sport gauges. And of course, this vehicle on is going to stay here because the door is open. These are sport gauges. Track gauges, which is basically your tack. Let's do a calming gauge. It's nothing but the speedometer in the center of the screen, nothing more. What if you like a classic car, 67 and 68 Mustang? That's fine. We can change the gauges to look like those. What if you're a Fox body guy? We'll swap the gauges out for your Fox body gauge cluster. We can do any of these you want to, including set up custom clusters on here. Show you something else I can do with just the touch of a button. Watch the screen there. We can go through driver's mode, a normal driving mode, we can have sport driving mode, we can have track driving mode, or we can go to drag strip driving mode, all with a touch of a button. What that will do for you is that will toggle you between some pre-designated settings as far as exhaust, throttle response, just all kinds of stuff. And then you can go into the screen to your right and you can tweak those settings from the base setting. It's kind of like having a laptop in your dash right there. Now, it's not exactly like having a laptop and doing all this stuff, but that's just the easiest way to explain it if you've never been around one of these, and I haven't. So I'm just trying to explain it the way if somebody would have explained it to me, I would have been able to understand it. As you know, if you've been around the channel for a while, again, as I said at the beginning of it, I'm a 60s and 70s muscle car guy, carburetor guy, and this is what I chose to leap into the future. Now, the Galaxy's not going nowhere. I've got new parts on the way for it that should be here tomorrow that I think a lot of you will be ready to see, and it's going to make a big difference in that car. That is still the race car. This is our street car. So this thing is absolutely amazing. The throttle response is unbelievable. As I said, we just drove it to Pennsylvania and back. I'm not going to tell you anything that I was doing other than saying that how quickly that this car can pick up speed is absolutely mind-blowing. I've never seen anything that has the kind of response that this does to your foot. It's a truly amazing car. But why did I pick the 2024 Mustang? Why now? And after all these years, why did I finally buy a brand new car? Well, let's talk about that. So why the 2024 Mustang? Well, I've watched these things for a lot of years. And if you watch my previous video I did on, I think the title was Kicking and Screaming into the Modern World or something along those lines, I've wanted a Mustang for a lot of years. I've had a bunch, but they've all been project cars, and they all end up getting sold before they were done. So this was kind of, it's finally time. I'm getting a Mustang, and I'm going to have a Mustang. But one of the things for me about getting a modern Mustang was we see things like the Mach-E coming out, the electric Mustang. We see things going in that nature. I don't know how much longer these higher horsepower V8 muscle cars will be around. So I wanted one that had some prestige behind it. The Mustang is that car. Is the electric cars going to take over? I don't know. I certainly hope not. I don't really believe they will. But I wanted something that would have some prestige behind it in case it ever does happen. I've got a V8 gasoline powered muscle car. Of course, a 6-speed because I'm a manual guy and I always will be. Also, this particular car is kind of a mix and match of packages. So it's the oddball, and I like the oddball. So this car, if you buy a 2024 Mustang with a premium package, that includes leather seats. That's part of the premium package. My wife does not like leather seats, so I did not want leather seats. But I got a car that has the premium package, but downgraded the seats to cloth seats. Also, it's got, as I said before, the Night Pony wheels, even though it's not the Night Pony package. It also has a little extra performance package on it that would not come on the standard GT. So it's kind of this hodgepodge of a bunch of different things thrown together. Also, this was the only one, and normally I'm not a stripe guy. I don't really like stripes on a car. This was the only one available at the time that I bought this with this stripe kit on it. So there may be other ones out there now, and there may be other ones in the making or what have you, but it made this car kind of the oddball, and I like the ones that are kind of the oddball package. So that's why I went after this particular one. Now, there's a lot of things that made me choose this point in time to make this leap, and one is because of the way the electric cars are coming on, and I wanted something that was gas powered with prestige, as I said. But also, I'm entirely busy all the time, overworked most of the time, and I don't have time to spend on my own projects because I'm working on other people's stuff all the time, which I'm trying to get away from and trying to kind of slow down a little bit. I just wanted something I could get in and enjoy, something I didn't have to worry about wrenching on, something I didn't have to think about hunting parts for to swap around or any of those stuff. I just wanted something to get in and drive. And I wanted something that was comfortable on a long trip. I'm telling y'all, we just drove this thing. We drove 7 hours on the first leg, but it's a 9-hour trip from our house to Pennsylvania where we went. And I felt like I'd been in this car for 45 minutes. The seats sit so comfortable. The car rides so good that it's probably one of the best road trip cars I've ever rode in. And that was one of my big concerns going into this, was like, how is it going to ride? This thing rides absolutely amazing. So I'm not here to try to sell you on a 2024 Mustang. I'm just here to tell you why I chose this particular car. I do want to take it to the track. That's just me. That is just something that is part of this channel. I mean, it's for Zell Racing, you know what I mean? So we're going to take it to track. We're going to send it down the track, and we're going to see what kind of time this car runs. Is this going to be a race car? No. But this is something I just want to know what the baseline of this car will run. I've heard several things. I've seen forums where people say it runs 750s. I can tell you from sitting in this car and driving it, I believe it's faster than that. Now, we're talking 8th mile time because that's what all the tracks are around here. So let me preface that. I've seen people say it'll run 750s. I think it'll run faster than that. I have a friend of mine who reached out to me who ironically had one of these cars, and he said he ran I want to say a 45 or a 46, so just under the 750s. But here's why I'm not sure about those, and I'm not trying to claim to be better than anybody else. If you've never raced a stick shift car, it's different than driving a stick shift car, and it's way different than racing an automatic. You have to it's a learning curve to stick shift race. I've seen a lot of people, I stick shift race all the time, the Galaxy stick shift, as most of y'all know, and I've seen a lot of people step into that world that are NHRA world champions, step into a stick shift car and get outrun by weekend warriors because it's a severe learning curve. You can't just go down through there and shift gears. That's not what it's all about. That's where the old myth comes from that sticks are slower, is because people can't shift uh, under load. They don't know how. I'm not getting into all that now, but I've got a video out. If you go back during my timeline or my video archives, you will see one about a racing transmission, a look inside of it. And I talk a lot about stick shift racing then. I've always stick shift raced. So I'm not saying I'm any better than anybody, but I'm saying if the average guy that just goes down to the car lot and buys one of these and can run a 48 to 50, I should be able to get in under that. But I don't know. Was their car the same package as this? Was their car a different package? I don't know. That's what I do not know. I honestly believe, I really do believe this car has low 40s or high 30s. I believe that car can run that. It may run faster than I think it did, but I believe it'll run that. So we are going to take it to the track at some point in time. You'll see it on the channel, and we will take it down the track and see how fast it runs. There's one little thing we have to do before we do that. As I said, my very first new car, I've never owned a brand new car in my life. As I said, my very first brand new car, I've never signed on that dotted line. I've never done that before. This is my very first brand new car in my entire life. And I've had it 5 days. Coming home last night, I was sitting at a stop sign, still in first gear, roll through to make a turn, and the Ray Charles of deer runs out of the woods and runs straight in to my car. Rolled the fender up right here and cracked the headlight right there. So my brand new, never been rained on, brand new car is fixing to go into the body shop and get a new fender and a new headlight. My brand new car is already headed to the body shop. That's fine. The insurance company take care of it. They promised me they would have it like brand new again and do it in short fashion. So it will be going to the track soon, hopefully within the next month, to make a pass. And we'll see what we're going to do with it from there. Now, again, I'm stepping into the modern world for the first time. So you tell me, if this was your brand new 2024 Mustang, what would you do to it? Again, I'm a complete novice and brand new in the modern car world. What would you do to it? What are some modifications that make these cars better? Right now, honestly and truly, I'm thinking I've never really had a vehicle this nice in my life. I'm thinking about, I'm going to tint the windows and enjoy it. That's my plans for it. But you tell me, you let me know, what's out there in the Mustang world that makes these cars better? Is there anything? Or is this the pinnacle of success right now? I don't know. Never fooled with this, never been in this world before. Right now, the only two things I know I'm going to do to it is I'm going to buy a car cover and I'm going to tint the windows. Because honestly, still a little nervous around the car. I've never had a car this nice. I know I look older, but I'm 45 years old and I've never owned anything new before. The only vehicle I've ever made payments on in my life was my F-150 when I picked it up, and it was not a new truck. It's actually almost 10 years old now. So that was the stepping stone. I'd never made payments on a vehicle before, and now I've stepped into a brand new vehicle, and I am absolutely in love with this car. So y'all let me know, what would you do to it if it was yours? Would you do anything to it? Right now, I'm going to drive it and enjoy it. But you tell me. And as always, thank you to each and every person who likes, subscribes, comments, and most importantly, shares. If there's anything you want to see on this car, please let me know. There's a lot of things about this car that I don't even know yet. There's some features that I have not found yet. There is one feature that I found that is very cool, and I may show you that on the next video. But basically, I can roll my windows down with my key fob. Actually, this car doesn't have a key fob. I guess my door locker unlocker fob thing. Um, you can mash the button on it and it will roll the windows down. I don't know why I find that fascinating. I guess because I've never had anything modern, so I've never seen anything do that before. As always, guys, I hope the Lord blesses you more today than He did yesterday. To Him be all the glory. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, comment. Again, drop a comment. Let me know what you would do to this car if this beautiful machine was yours. And let me know what you think of the 2024 Mustang. We'll see you on the next one.
I'd say it's a nut job.